Hi friends, today I'm going to review the book Develop Your Assertiveness by Sue Bishop. Make your point. Becoming more assertive and thus more able to speak up for yourself confidently brings many benefits. Assertive people have a greater sense of their own worth. They have better communication skills, so they express themselves well. They represent themselves and others with authenticity. To become more assertive, cultivate the right self-image, attitude, body language, voice, and facial expressions. All these are part of the equation if you want to get your point across consistently and be your own best advocate. You have the right to be the final authority for what you are and what you do. Infants are born with two types of behavior, assertive and passive. Passivity is a more natural human response. Becoming aggressive tends to be a learned behavior. Toddlers learn to express their likes and dislikes as part of their behavioral maturation. This involves learning to say no. Small children often become emotional or have tantrums if they do not get what they want. They learn how to act, either passively or assertively, by receiving praise and rewards for the right behavior. First, you must recognize negativity in your inner dialogue, and when it occurs, replace it with a positive, energizing, self-elevating pep talk. How people are socialized and how other people condition them shapes the way they conduct themselves. Passive and aggressive behaviors come naturally to us and often seem the easy, though seldom the most effective option, whereas assertive behavior requires a cognitive process rather than a gut reaction. Being assertive is about more than words. Conveying assertiveness means communicating with your whole body, including your facial expressions, posture, and vocal tone and volume. That's why it pays to practice how you want to act, because the need to be assertive invariably gets called into play in the midst of a tense situation. When people encounter anxiety or danger, their natural tendency is to react physically. Their muscles tense, their stomachs ache, and fear wells up. That's normal. Becoming tense is natural, so learning to manage tension is a key life skill. Assertiveness training prepares you to handle stress. To take control of a tense situation, you need to be able to remain relaxed enough to think clearly. If you are in a confrontation and the other person detects, consciously or subconsciously, that you are getting increasingly tense, he or she may react by becoming more aggressive. Exercises that release tension. Several exercises can help you release tension. The first is to tighten every muscle in your body, including your facial muscles, and hold everything tensed for a few seconds. Then release all at once. Repeat this exercise and finish with a few deep breaths. Another tense and release technique focuses on the muscles of your diaphragm. Point your fingers skyward and compress your palms together with your forearms parallel to the floor. Push hard until you feel the tension in your palms and triceps. Breathe slowly and then exhale. While exhaling, tense your diaphragm. Then breathe in. Ensure that your tone of voice, volume, and nonverbal communication appropriately reflect your strength of feeling about the issue. While you can use these quick techniques to face specific stressful situations, try to practice regular stress relief by listening to music, soaking in the bathtub, or meditating. If you meditate, imagine yourself in a peaceful setting or at a concert or ballet surrounded by your favorite colors, sounds, and aromas. Be positive. Self-esteem governs many elements of behavior, so it is productive to work on developing a positive self-image. People who feel confident and in control display assertiveness in their body language. They are relaxed. Their arms hang loosely by their sides or rest in their laps. Their faces do not show obvious tension. The receiver will take more notice of what is seen than of what is heard. A hard truth, but a statistically proven fact. Assertive people speak positively and avoid conditional phrases such as, "I should have spoken sooner," or "I can't find the time to exercise today." Such statements have negative connotations tied to self-doubt and low self-esteem. People who say such things to themselves or others only make themselves unhappy. When you repeat negative talk in your mind, it undermines your confidence, brings down your mood, and saps your energy. Can't is also a word of self-doubt, implying that you have no control over your life. To be assertive, try to break the cycle of negative self-talk. Inject positive thoughts into your routine by repeating upbeat sayings such as, "I am getting stronger each day," or "I can handle this situation." Repeat these slogans silently to yourself. Record them and replay the tape so you hear strong, positive ideas in your own voice. The goal is to listen until these ideas become part of your thought pattern, allowing you to shape a new inner voice. Assertive communications means expressing yourself concisely and clearly in a direct, honest, and spontaneous way. Assertiveness training teaches that you are responsible for your actions and for seeking what you want. The flip side of that responsibility is that other people have the right to deny your requests. This unchangeable fact of life affects business, social, and personal relationships. Every adult has basic rights, including 1. Having individual feelings and setting personal priorities. 2. Deciding how to spend time and with whom, choosing personal political beliefs, or making mistakes and admitting when they do not understand what is happening. The secret of small talk is to have the courage to make the first move. Ask an appropriate question in a friendly and open manner. Then, listen attentively to the other person's responses. To be assertive and fair, you must recognize other people's rights. First, acknowledge that they have the right to act as they want. Then affirm that you have rights as well. Being assertive means recognizing the boundary between these two sets of rights. Listen up, stand up. Becoming a better listener can help you get your ideas across to people who don't usually heed your suggestions. Many people endure being interrupted and ignored. To counter these problems, improve your listening skills. Consciously engage in active listening. Pay attention to other people's facial expressions, what they are saying, what they mean, their tone, and their body language. No single gesture or movement can give the impression of assured self-confidence. Like many people, you may be comfortable in business exchanges that focus on work, but you may find social situations difficult. As you develop good listening skills, chatting casually will become easier. When you talk to new people, ask about their interests, beliefs, and attitudes. That creates the foundation for discussing something other than business. If you're in a social setting that calls for small talk, be strategic. If you don't have something interesting or germane to say, be a good listener. You can still participate by being attentive and posing good questions. If you are dealing with a room full of strangers, start a conversation by asking general ice-breaking questions such as, "There are a lot of people here, aren't there? Are they from your office?" Or, "I work with Frank. Is he a friend of yours?" Avoid asking conversation-killing questions requiring only a yes or no answer. The loud message of body language. Body language conveys feelings and behavior. When your language, gestures, and delivery are synchronized and match your overall attitude, you are presenting a whole package that reinforces your message and personality. The elements of body language, including eye contact, facial expression, movement, stance, and posture, give signals about your behavior. Studies find that when two people stand next to one another, and one person is erect while the other is slouched, observers assume that the person who is standing straight is the boss. Slumping is a sign of passivity. Other passive signs include a drooped chin, clenched hands, and poor eye contact. There is no point in talking, however assertively, if no one is listening, and conversely, no point in listening if we are not truly attentive to the other person. Analyzing the content of their communication and assessing their tone of voice, mannerisms, facial expressions, and so on, adding meaning to the words they use. To exude more authority, speak in the lower register of your vocal range. To practice, try breathing from your abdomen. When you do so, you take in more air, which can help lower the pitch of your voice. An assertive person has steady, fluid movements, open palms, lowered eyebrows, a primordial sign of greeting, and consistent eye contact. When an assertive person meets someone, he or she will mirror the other person's behavior. Mirroring means matching the vocal tone, volume, rhythm, and pace of the other person, as well as his or her vocabulary. This reduces tension and increases rapport. Assertive people mirror out of respect for someone else's feelings. Mirroring increases the opportunity to build a personal affinity. Talk the talk. To get your point across easily and quickly, avoid jargon and use direct statements. Say what you think and feel. When you give an order, focus on what should be done, not on the person who may have caused a problem. Say, "This work area should be cleaned," instead of saying, "Mike, you should keep this area cleaner." Consider the impact of snapping, "You're always late," compared to asking, "Can you tell me why you were late today?" Usually the person is not always late, so being more specific can elicit a better answer and avoid antagonism. Use personal statements to soften a negative message. Instead of rejecting a proposal by saying, "Wouldn't it be better to conduct more research?" a confident person might say, "I think more research is needed before we decide." While the first approach could be construed as critical and could spark an argument, the second statement invites substantiating facts. Assertiveness is a choice of behavior, and there are occasions when it is appropriate not to assert yourself. When an assertive person has to deal with a confrontation, he or she maintains a calm demeanor, and a sense of control. To handle a confrontation, go back to using mirroring. Match the pace of your speech to the other person's speech pattern. Once you establish rapport, lower your tone and volume. This should impel the other person to do the same. Then see if it is time for reasoning. If so, try to find out what has upset the other person. Attempt to negotiate a solution. If you don't make progress, end the exchange and do not take abuse. Tell the other person the conversation is not progressing, and you will continue it tomorrow. If you need someone to depart, send nonverbal cues, such as looking at your watch. To end a phone call, wait for an appropriate opening and inject, "It was good speaking with you." Criticism. Dishing it out and taking it. Criticism can be justified or unjustified, constructive or destructive. Try to offer positive, constructive criticism. For example, instead of saying that an architect's proposed building plan would waste resources, you might say, "If we adopt that design, environmentalists may object." If you want to rebuff a suggestion, begin with the phrase, "I disagree," to allow the other person to explain. Starting with "you're wrong" is confrontational and provocative. Giving or receiving criticism is stressful. When appropriate, seek ways to praise employees as well as to criticize them. When someone praises you, acknowledge their approval and thank them for the compliment. If your job requires you to criticize someone, make the undertaking more effective by using these tactics. 1. Address a problem as soon as possible so it is fresh in everyone's memory. 2. Allocate enough time to have a discussion without being rushed. 3. Allow enough space for you to stand or sit together. 4. Decide whether the criticism should be direct or indirect. 4. Sometimes you can make your point more effectively if you soften the blow. 5. Don't be afraid to use the word "I." 6. Talk in specifics and provide exact examples of the problem. 7. If something bothers you, say so, and describe how it affects you and how you feel. 8. Explain exactly what you want. 9. Don't be afraid to say that you are requesting a change in someone's behavior, and use silence effectively. 10. Give the other person time to absorb your message. 11. End the discussion in a positive way. The ability to be assertive will help you during interviews, meetings, and presentations. Self-confidence and assertiveness are tremendous assets when you ask for a raise or promotion. Rely on them anytime you must advocate on your own behalf. Takeaways. 1. Assertive people have a greater sense of their own worth and better communication skills. 1. They can represent themselves and others in a more truthful way. 2. The factors that shape people's behavior include how they are socialized, how they react to the world, and how they are conditioned by their interactions with others. 3. Assertiveness training teaches that you are responsible for your actions and goals. 4. It prepares you to handle stressful situations. 5. Infants are born with 2 types of behaviors, passive and assertive. 6. Passivity is a more natural human response, while aggression is a learned behavior. 7. Criticism can be justified or unjustified, constructive or destructive. 8. To reinforce your message and personality, create a packaged presentation by synchronizing your language, gestures, and delivery. 9. The physical signals of assertiveness include steady, fluid movements, open palms, frank eye contact, and lowered eyebrows, a primordial sign of greeting. 10. When people in a study were shown photos of a slouching person and an erect person, they assumed that the erect person was the boss. 11. Did you know that around 70% of our viewers haven't subscribed to our channel yet? If you're one of them, why not consider hitting that subscribe button? It's a great way to stay up to date with our latest videos and support our channel at the same time. 11. Join the majority of our community and subscribe today. Thanks for watching.